Okay, now we're just going to walk back down here and go right and see what we get. And have a look at the Planchonii situation. They should be just flowering sort of things, so you can see what to expect if you get them in a pot. Now, if you just grow them in normal peat and sand, they'll stay in like a seedling stage for about 3 seasons and start growing erect in about the 4th season. Some coastal ones start growing erect in the 3rd season, but with a bit of maybe ash fertilisation or newer knowledge coming down the track, you should be able to get them growing up in probably the end of the 1st season, I would say. Once you get a bit of new knowledge out there, and maybe learning how to grow them in a saturated situation sort of thing, so you can make use of anaerobic nitrogen fixation sort of thing, so you power up the plant that way sort of thing. But that's coming down the track, and as I said, I'm aiming to grow things in flooded buckets, because in this country, in South Africa, water is scarce. It's a scarce commodity, and unless you've got these 50,000 litre rainwater tanks and a vast surface area to draw on to fill them up every season, I'd rather have big open troughs that you just sort of fill to the brim every month or something, so you only have like 3 waterings in the whole season basically. You water in December, you water in January, February, March, and that's the last time you ever water there. And because it's all flooded, it's just a top-up watering basically. So every month you're just topping it up to the brim. None of this titivating of every single little plant. My question to you is the water in your watering tray actually absolutely pure? I mean, it's amazing how they got stuff growing in the water trays. Algae, aquatic ferns and other stuff. Nothing grows or nothing. I mean, it makes you wonder. But anyway, I think I'm slowly coming to a very startling conclusion. Less is more. Yeah, I've heard that phrase before. Anyway, I mean, I did some work with just ordinary seawater and diluted it down, and I found that CPs could handle just straight seawater if it was diluted somewhere between 1/10 and 1/12. So, 1/10 was a bit pushing it, but 1/12 was okay. So, so if you got getting down to your beach and you got yourself a milk bottle's worth of seawater and diluted it, 1 in 12 basically, didn't seem to have too much detrimental effect on the plants. So you might want to keep that in your back pocket. Anyway, so we're just going to walk down this path, and of course there are Planchonii in there, and but this one's the obvious one that's off the track sort of thing, and we'll see. And there should be wits on the side of the track, and they're all sort of going sort of thing. And we've got helicopter overhead, so we're not going to do anything stupid. We're just going to keep to the track and walk gingerly down here and just have a look at the planches. Yeah. Anyway, and I think there were some scramblers over here, because it is a rainbow sundew. See, that's what Donnie and I, we thought. I don't know, I somewhat lost favour, but Donnie, there is I can see some flowers from here, I think. No, there's something else. They're white flowers too, but hopefully we might see some. There's a bush down here, and there was a whole load scrambling over the bush. And it's been here for years. This bush has been here for years, and the plant. Oh, here we got some here. Oh, we're drying them. Wow, they've already flowered and are setting seed. Lucky I came today, eh? Ho, ho, ho. So I reckon I'll give them a week. A week. Oh yeah. Now there was a bush down here they used to scramble over. A whole load of them. So yeah. Oh, those ones you can see they've just finished flowering. Last flower was probably yesterday. And these ones, oh no, these ones have still got a couple of flowers to go. So, but yeah, they're being knocked back a bit. Yeah, normally they're nice and in good years of the past, and we're talking like going back around the new millennium and before that sort of thing. These things go lovely red if you get, especially at the back of the ong. Have you seen them? They're very, very small at the back of the ong. And we've got these bluebell things here as well. Don't know if you're picking those up. So you can hear, they usually normally have a nice red colour. I think they're just on the John Wayne basically. But anyway, yeah, some really weird locations, aren't we? And of course, those pond things are in there, those little rocky pond things, but I think they're past mines or something. So yeah, anyway, I just thought you like that. And there's a few over there, so yeah, I don't know, give it a week or so. These ones actually float in the air, so you got to watch these ones. If you don't get it just right, you know, they're gone. If there's a wind, if you've got a windy night or something, a gully wind, you just miss out that year. So we'll see. At least we're down here. We know they're not quite ready yet. I'll give it a week, I say. Just watch out for the sunny days, I think, and the gully winds. And if there's a forecast of a gully wind or something, then you're probably going to have to be down here the day before or something, and just wing it, sort of thing, you know. But anyway, oh yeah, look at the fat one on that one. So that one's gone, and this one is about to go tomorrow, I would say. If it's a sunny day tomorrow, it'll pop. So yeah. Anyway, just thought you'd like to know, see how we go, sort of thing. And I am making the hard yards, I am making the effort for you, so you should be able to make another Whittigray seed video within about, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks. They should turn up in the post around about then. And I don't know if I want to time it, I might be able to send you both if we time it. Leave it to a month and you'll get both. And then you can play around with plants. I see with Whittigray, it won't germinate basically. You can try, but you know, it usually goes through the summer on this bloody hot ground sort of thing and germinates next year. Whereas Profolio is different. It drops its seeds, you know, much earlier, and they germinate and they set a little seedling tuber in the same year as they drop the seed sort of thing. So you're quite fine to put those seeds down. I did see that. Geez, you put a lot of seeds down there, but then again, probably your thing is if you can grow them to like mini tuber size, you can sell them on sort of thing and make a bit of pocket money and or trade actual tubers for rarer seeds or something. I don't know if you want to do that, but good on you, go for it. You know, as long as you keep me happy with common stuff, I'm not against that. I mean, we learn. I mean, that was some of the stuff that I didn't like about the old, my kind of, they wouldn't try anything new. They wouldn't do anything, you know. How about doing this? Try this. No. There's all this pushback and resistance, you know. Yeah. But of course, as I said, around the new millennium, I was on there from 98 to 2001, I think it was, and then I was off for about 8 years and then went back on. And of course, that when I went back on, it's all peat and perlite. You know? It's like come out of left. But when did this happen? Who came up with this? But round the new millennium, when the society was suddenly folded up, you put your little cursor over the Google map thing over a certain person's house, and it was as if the information that came up sort of implied the person was or had been running the society out of his house as a bit like a personal business, maybe a bit of a tax dodge, I don't know. You know, maybe gets a few extra benefits, I don't know. But it was just very strange how these sort of people that put you down are very cagey about their privacy. And I'm thinking, yes, they only want the equation to go one way, their way. They want to be able to put you down. They don't want you to know any deep dark secrets about them. But as I said, we found out like 2 years, I think, after the society had folded, we had a few people came over from Victoria, and I happened to pull this letter, because Fred just phoned me up, and the late Fred Howe phoned me up, and he said, you know, I'm doing something or something. I don't know, or he's getting too old or something. I don't think we knew he had cancer then, but anyway, he sent me out to deal with these people. And they had this letter from this person, and I pulled it out there, and it was just like, you know, a cold thing going, like a cold sweat going down your body. It was like that aha moment. This is a person who was so humble to us, complaining that, oh, you know, he had such a bad collection, and, you know, I wish he had a better one, and all this sort of thing, blah, blah. In this letter, he was actually raving about he was having the best tuberous sundew collection in the state, blah, blah, blah. Total opposite. And that's what they say, you know, that's the sign of a classic psychopath. You know, they tell the floor below one story, and they tell the floor above another story, and the stories don't match. That's how you can tell you got yourself a psychopath. As I said, but what got me, it was the mediocre words. All the mediocre words that we were normally used to this person were slightly different. It's like he had a screed or a set of, you know, mediocre words he used on us and sort of encouraged us to use with this comment. And then he'll have a whole different set that he was using, at least in this letter anyway, but on other people. And you could tell by the difference in the mediocre, that's probably how you can win an argument. You know, he encourages you to use one mediocre word, and his mediocre word is just slightly better than your one, and he wins the argument. But you don't realise, because it's based on the media, it's not based on the argument, it's based on the mediocre word. Subtle, isn't it? And I suddenly realised that's how they sent the Jews to the gas chambers. They encouraged them to use a different set of language, encouraged them to wear the yellow star, and then, no, my badge of authority is better than your yellow star, my language is better than your... and they had no better language to fight back with. So they ended up boarding those cattle trucks heading towards Auschwitz. So, yeah, it was quite an eye-opening moment. So, we'll see how we go. Anyway, well, that's about it, and I'll get home and upload these clips, and you can have I don't know, make yourself some cheese and crumpets or something, and look forward to the next package. Probably be just Whittaker, but you never know, depending on what as I said, you know, I reckon they're only a week away so we'll see what happens. So it could even be less if we have, you know, a couple of sunny days back to back. Growth speeds up, everything comes on, and before you know it, if we have a gully wind, you'd be kicking yourself. Oh, I should have been here yesterday. Bugger! Got to wait a whole year now. Joke, no. I'll keep my eye on it now. So. But they are, you know, everything else seems to be running to time. As I said, I got JPEGs on my computer, which were telling me round about the 17th. You know, keep your eye around about the 17th, and you know, 10 days later than that, and the first lawn pinks came out 2 days ago. So you know, that's 8 days after. You know, basically a week. So you know, running fairly to time, and it has been a weird year, and the glids are just absolute crap this year. But not as bad as that other year. I think it was it 2016 or 17? I can't remember. It's on the videos I mentioned. They just absolutely dried off. Everything dried off. Had some really extraordinarily hot days, and that was it. Dried off. No seed set whatsoever. And might tell you something about the seed bank, because there used to be thousands of plants up on that hillside there. You know, so yeah, it has set them back a bit in cohort size, but anyway, we'll see how we go. Email you tonight, and you know, hopefully glad in your heart. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, get your magnifying glass and your little piece of graph paper. I like what you did with the line paper, but I think you're gonna have to get some of that 1x1 millimeter grid paper from the post office. You'll find something in the surely you'll find something in the post office or the $2 shop or something. Probably the post office. Just ask for it. Have you got that 1x1 millimeter graph sort of stuff? Or just go to your local school or something, or you know, go into the headmaster's office and say, I'm doing this project. He'll say, sure, we've got tons of this stuff. We use it every day, every year. It's coming out of our ears, sort of thing. He'll probably say that. And anyway, I'm getting exhausted now. I'm going to go home and have a nice couple of snitters, I think. And they'll be gone in about an hour. I reckon they'll all be burnt off by this walk. But you've got to keep yourself fit these days, don't you? You never know what's around the corner these days. Might be fighting with the old Rona in a couple of weeks' time. But apparently, yeah, they've done a number on this hydroxychloroquine in America, and basically, I reckon that is the lamestream meter gone. I think that is treason against the people. You know, robbing them. I mean, if you had a grandfather or grandmother, you realised they could still be here, still be alive, but the lamestream media perverted the true course of justice. That is just an excuse to just take them all out and shoot them, I reckon. You know, line them all up and say, this is an information war, you are spies, and we've got proof positive on paper with all your talking points that you're just working as an undercover agent spy sort of thing. Bang. It's signed by the president, signed, sealed and delivered. And yeah, as long as it's all done publicly and we understand it and we see the proof, here's the photographs, the JPEGs, the letters, the coordination information maps showing who was connected to whom, and so on and so forth. So it's all above board. So you really do know it's happened. You know, overheard or taped conversations in their own words, in their own handwriting. You know, cross the I's and dot the T's. So you know, because you're up against fake news, you see, you're up against propaganda. So you've got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt and some, you know, because they've got this counter narrative out there. So. But yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. Next year's just going to be a whole load of popcorn execution, one after the other sort of thing. And we're going to just wake up and be scratching our noggin what's been going on behind our backs for the last, well, at least a quarter of a century, if not longer, I would say. Some of the things that happened in my kind of plant society might be explained away, like that incident back in 1983 where half of the society just disappeared sometime in that student exchange and never came back until I started phoning around, and I had the sticky plant policy and a few people turned up there, and I managed to extract something out of one person. I said, did somebody punch somebody's lights out? And he says, no, but you're close. That person's probably dead by now, but I did ask him, can you put this in your will? You know, give me the answer in a letter that turns up after you're dead, turns up on my doorstep. You know, your lawyer comes along, knocks on my front door. Apparently this is for you, bum bum. And I get to read what really, unless he's put a proviso on it, you know, he wants the letter to be delivered after he's pretty certain, or he's told the lawyer, you can't deliver the letter until these people, these 3 or 4 people are dead. Then you can deliver the letter. So there's no repercussions. Maybe that's what it is. He knows how really evil they are, and we're going to find out just how really evil they are with all the stuff that's going down in America. And maybe that's why he's instructed his lawyer to, you know, not only when I'm dead, but you've got to either wait a certain amount of time, or you've got to wait until these particular people are no longer on the planet. Then you can deliver the letter, if I'm still alive. of course. I could have caught the Rona in the intervening time and shuffled off this mortal coil. But there's a whole load of other stories and anecdotes I could probably tell you in person, but and you'll be like, I think you'll be like Donnie at first. He thought I was talking bullshit, you know, and then I said we had this one moment when I looked